Hi, I'm Steve Hinton, and I'm the pilot of race number 7 Strega. This year at Reno 2009, Strega took home the unlimited gold with a new race average record of 491 miles an hour. The airplane this year flew great. The engine ran perfect all week long. The weather was perfect, so the speeds were up this year, which is nice to see. Qualified first, started first on Friday, second on Saturday, and then finished first on Sunday, so it was a perfect week up there.
LD Hughes here, crew chief on race 7 and race 86. During a maintenance program that we were running, we had the unfortunate luck of an oil cap getting left loose on the engine, and during a test flight we lost about 75% of the oil out of the airplane. It was a great concern to us because there's so many different sections of the engine that require oil. We were scared that we might have starved one of them for oil, so it led into an all-night work session checking over the engine, running it through the evening, and rechecking things over and over again to make sure that we hadn't hurt it. Steve radioed in that the oil pressure was starting to fluctuate. It was just something that he caught rapidly on the gauge. We probably attribute his quick reaction to saving the engine.
This year I hadn't expected to be the pole sitter, just because it was my first year up there flying a fast airplane, and I hadn't been around the course at those speeds. And especially when you get up in those higher speed ranges, it's real important how you fly the course, because a second or two makes all the difference between 10 or 20 miles an hour. And it ended up, we pulled off the course after I qualified. Didn't get any answer on the radio about how things went, so I just figured, maybe we're second, hopefully we're third. Somewhere in the top 5 will be nice. And I got back down on the ground, and they said you qualified about 485 miles an hour. I was like, wow, that's pretty fast. The line that I fly for different airplanes changes quite a bit, especially when you get up in speed. At the slower speeds, you know, in the bronze race, you're kind of flying pylon to pylon, and you don't really have to look too far out in front of you as far as where you're going to fly your course. And it's more of a straight line course than an oval. And then getting back into Strega this year, at the race speeds that we were seeing, you really have to determine what kind of a course you're going to fly, pick your spots where you're tight, where you're going to be loose, and try and find the best spot for the airplane so the airplane won't be slowing down, and then find a happy medium. You know, the race strategy is quite a bit different going from first to second or wherever you end up. Obviously, the end result is that you want to be in first place. Going into Sunday's race, I knew I had a faster airplane. There was no question in my mind or our crew's mind about that. I had thought that we would probably get him in the first lap, and it ended up that we passed him going into pylon 4. With the line that I fly, it was time to start turning, and Will hadn't started turning yet, so I stayed above him and gave him his space and started my turn, and he was gone underneath me and just never looked back from there. You know, as far as the intensity level that you bring to it, Reno is something that I haven't stopped thinking about for the last few years. And as far as getting more intense as race week went on, the focus just had to get quite a bit tighter because the crowds get bigger and there's more distractions going on. And obviously the situations that you're being placed in are escalating. You know, when you're out qualifying, you're out there by yourself and you're flying one lap. But when you get into a race environment where you have 6 or 8 or 9 airplanes out there with you, you really have to focus quite a bit harder. You know, after Saturday I was pretty disappointed with myself for cutting a pylon. So then you just replay it over and over in your head and focus on it. And going into Sunday, I felt like I gave Voodoo that win. We had the faster airplane and I let my crew down by finishing second. So it was really an intense focus to do my job, which is, with this airplane especially, the job is to win.
There was a lot of attention paid to the right side of the airplane, which had some oil on it. And one of the things that we're constantly doing is trying to maintain a specific oil level in the engine. We elected to overfill the oil tank for Sunday. That way we were sure to have enough oil. We probably lost 1.5 gallons or so out of the right side of the airplane during the race. Fortunately, the airplane has a 12-gallon oil tank supply, and we were still at about 9.5 gallons when the race was completed. So it actually ends up seeking its own level, and the mess down the bottom of the airplane we can just wipe off and forget about it.
The first time I was up for the air races, I was 2 weeks old, and the races were part of my life for the first 6 or 7 years. Flying was something that I always wanted to do. There wasn't a question in my mind whether I wanted to be a football player or a baseball player or whatnot. I said, no, I want to be a pilot. And it was something that my parents didn't push on me. They said, if you want it, you have to go earn it. As far as the racing part of things, I always set goals for myself. You know, the first one would be getting to be on a race crew. And that's an honor in itself to have your name on a gear door of an airplane that's won 8 times. But the first time I really got interested in racing and saying, well, I want to race someday, I remember it was 2002. We were walking the gold line. I was helping out in the pace points. That was the first time I saw Strega in person. I just fell in love with the airplane. So a couple years later, I met Tiger for the first time up in Reno and asked him if it would be okay if I could come up to Bakersfield and just look at the airplane. And he gave me LD Hughes, the crew chief's phone number. So I'd flown up to Bakersfield with the mentality of if I had to stay 50 feet away from the airplane and just look at it, I could do it for hours. I was really excited about it. Came up here and LD was gracious enough to look in the cockpit, and they had the airplane pretty well ripped apart. So you show me all the ins and outs of it, or quite a few of them. And then I just started calling them every weekend. Hey, can I give you a hand this weekend? And then they asked me to be on the crew. Learned a lot about the airplane that first year, and then since then it's just been a snowball effect. And and 2 years ago, LD and Tiger gave me the opportunity to go fly it, which was a privilege. It's something I've always wanted to do. You know, I couldn't have told you a couple years ago that I was going to be a national champion. It was a goal that I had, but until those stars align for you, you know, it's a matter of luck. I think the value in working on the airplane as well as flying it, you know, there's never a question of what's going on with the airplane or how something works. You know the system's like the back of your hand, and I think it really gives you an advantage out there.
The big deal for race 7 this year, we're going to go to a complete one-piece composite cowling for the front end. Our main objective for doing that is to seal the engine compartment and smooth up the front end even more than it is now.
Right now I'm a full-time college student. I graduate within the next 6 months. As far as my career is concerned, I've given a lot of thought, but I'm trying to keep all my doors open. Obviously, if I can have a career like my dad's, that would be, can't ask for anything more than that. I think I'd like to be more involved with the racing throughout my life, and try not to look too far ahead, and enjoy where I'm at the present time.
Okay, so we want our eyes off to the left. Here comes your 2009 unofficial race champion, Stephen Hinton in 3-7.